In module 1, lesson 16, we're going to go back to distributive property. And this time we're going to use it with units of 4. So this is not, the distributive property is not new to you. Well, I mean, it's not completely new to you. It's something we have done before, although only in a couple of lessons. And we're going to go back to it so you can have more exposure. And again, we're going to do that with facts involving a 4. And I want to show you a really neat strategy with this because it can make your life a little bit easier. That's what these properties are designed for. It's designed to make your life a little bit easier as a math student, as a mathematician. And let me show you how we can do that. So let me get a 4 fact up here for us to work with. And we're going to use arrays throughout your lesson here, both in class and in the problem set and in your homework. And so I'm going to do 6 rows of 4. 6. And to start, I'm going to do them all the same color. We might change that here in a little bit, but to start, we'll do them all the same. You'll remember the distributive property is a break apart strategy, break apart and distribute. You can think of that word distribute as like to hand out. And so in this case, you're going to hand out groups of 4. Just like I might distribute papers in class, I might hand papers out. When you use this term in math, it means you're going to hand out or break apart and share groups of numbers, in this case 4. So I have 6 groups of 4 here, 6 rows of 4. And what I want to teach you to do is, you know how to break these apart. Like, you know that you could, do this and do 3 times 4 and 3 times 4. You know that. But so far, when we've done these sorts of things, we've done them sort of randomly. Our break aparts have been sort of random. But I want to teach you that there's actually a really important strategy to use when you're doing this that can make your life easier. And that is, we mostly know our 5 stacks. We can count by 5s pretty easily compared to how we can count other numbers, group count other numbers. So we should use that to our advantage. And we know we have 6 rows here, so we have more than 5. So we have plenty to work with here. So if I draw a line under the 5th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can say that this is 5 times 4, and this is 1 times 4. Well, 5 times 4, I can count by 5s 4 times. 5, 10, 15, 20. That was easy. That was easier than counting by 3s or 6s. 20. And then one group of 4 is obviously 4. So then I would have something like 5 times 4 in parentheses. Remember, parentheses just mean you're going to group something together. Plus 1 times 4 equals 20 plus 4. Again, that 20 comes from the 5 times 4, and the 4 comes from the 1 times 4. And if I add those up, I get 20. So when we break things apart, if we can break them so that one of the 2 sections is a group of 5, that just makes it easier for us to group count. Let's take another look at a problem like that. So I'm going to do, let's see, we'll do 7 this time. So 7 rows, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, you're going to see all these sorts of problems on your problem set and your homework. So you get lots of practice using this break apart strategy or the distributive strategy. All right, so again, I have 7 rows total, 7 rows of 4, which means I have more than 5 rows. I can break it apart after the 5th row. I'm going to break it apart and I'm going to split them into 2 sections. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows times 4 in each row equals 20. Again, I could go 5, 10, 15, 20 and figure that out. And down here I have 2 rows of 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. And now I have 20 plus 8 equals 28. So my multiplication fact then, 7 times 4 equals 28. That's something I forgot there on the last page, but I probably should add, is that 6 times 4 equals 24. So my original multiplication fact, we don't want to lose sight of that. That's what we were trying to solve all along. And in this case, 7 times 4 is 28. Now let's do a bigger one. Let's do I don't know, 9 times 4 rather. Oops, that's not an X, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this even works with bigger arrays. And again, our goal is going to be to make one of the two sections a group of 5. We're going to break it apart so that one group gets 5 sets of 4 and one gets 4 sets of 4. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to break it right there so that this group has 5 groups of 4. And again, we've solved this 2 other times now, so we know that it's 20. And then I can go down here and solve the rest. I have 4 groups with 4 in each group. 4 times 4 is 16. And I could show you that by saying 4, 8, 12, 16. Group counting by 4 is there. Now, my multiplication sentence might look like this. 9 times 4 equals 5 times 4 plus 4 times 4. So that's step 1. I broke it apart. This 5 times 4 is shown right there. And the 4 times 4 comes from right there. So the top part is my first multiplication portion of my multiplication sentence. And the bottom part is represented here by the 4 times 4. And then I can show that 20 plus 16 equals 36. And again, that 20 comes right from the 5 times 4, and 16 comes right from the 4 times 4. And my total, my product is 36. So again, I can show that 9 times 4 equals 36. This is the basic idea that you're expected to gain practice with in lesson 16. And it, again, is using the distributive property with facts involving a 4, or your 4's times tables. And again, breaking any of those arrays after the 5th row so that you have one group of 5 and one group of some other number is really helpful because it allows you to use a fact that you know, a fact that you're comfortable with, to learn facts that you're less comfortable with. And you'll see the front side of your problem set, the front side of your homework will look very much like what we've been doing here. And then the back side of both of those will give you some practice with some more challenging work. But again, it's all connected to this. So maybe it won't give you the array, but it will ask you to draw the array. Or for example, you might get, I know you'll get something like this, where it will say, you might have 8 times 4, 6 times 4, and 7 times 4. And then down at the bottom, you might have something like 5 times 4 plus 2 times 4. And you're gonna have to do like a matching game here. And then you might have 5 times 4 plus 5 times, I'm sorry, it's 3 times 4. And over here, you might have something like 5 times 4 plus 1 times 4. And then you have to make connections between these two things. So you'd say, well, 8 times 4 is 5 4s and 3 4s. So that those are connected. And the reason I knew that is because these first two these factors that come first in both of these sets of parentheses have to add up to 8. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. That's how I know that it has to go with the 8 times 4 fact. So when I do 6 times 4, I automatically know it has to go to this one, because 5 plus 1 equals 6. The first factor in both of these multiplication sentences here, you add those together to get the total, and that's 6. Again, that's like saying I have 5 rows of 4 plus 1 row of 4. That's the same thing as just having 6 rows of 4. And when I do my 7 times 4, it's the last one here. But if I have 5 rows of 4 and 2 rows of 4, that's the same thing as having 7 total rows of 4. I've just broken it apart. I've drawn a line between that 5th row and the 6th row and 7th row there. Again, this 5 plus 2 equals 7, and that 7 is the same as the 7 up here in that original fact. So you'll get some practice doing some things like that as well in this lesson. I say it every time, and I will continue to say it all year long. Please ask questions if you have them, and I'm always happy to answer them. I know that while this is not completely new to you, we have done the distributive property earlier in the year. We only did it for a little amount of time. So it's still relatively new to you, and I know that, and I understand that. And I want you to just keep trying and working at it, and you're gaining experience and using these strategies in ways that are helping you, ways that make it easier for you to solve problems is really important. And just keep working at it because you will get there.